Okay, guys, I'm going to show you now how to design these Bluetooth speaker covers. They they're important to protect the speakers, but they can also, of course, be removed. They will be 3D printed, so I'm going to show you guys how to make them real quick. As you can see, if you look at the design tree over here on the side, there's only three features. This sketch is not actually anything. I can go ahead and delete it. So there's just three features: the main body, the grid pattern to make this sort of mesh type thing, and then just a little fillet on the outside. I'm going to show you guys basically how to do it. First, I'll go over what we do, and then I'll show you the steps. So the first thing is we want to make this overall shape, right? Now this is made up of mainly three things. This is a single circle out here, a circle placed on a angle over here, and lastly a offset of that circle around it, and then everything else is just trimmed away until we get that shape. So we just have a couple measurements to go over, and then we can go ahead and try it. So I'm going to start here in a new sketch. Just to show you guys I'm starting a new sketch, I'll go ahead, start a new 2D sketch, and then this of course pops up. As usual, I'll start with the XY plane, and I'll start with a circle about the origin, 2.379. Where did I get that number from? Did that work? I don't think it did. Let's try it again. So this time I just put in the dimension 2.379. That's kind of the difference between AutoCAD and Autodesk. So if I go back to my completed version just to check, since I trimmed it, it's no longer there, but that is the diameter. Once you trim it and it's no longer a complete circle, that will give you just the radius, which is 1.19, which comes out to the same. So that's what I'm doing there. The next thing I'm going to do is a something we haven't done a lot, but I'm going to draw a line from the center straight up. It doesn't matter how high. I'm also going to do one at an angle. Again, doesn't matter how high because we will change that later. The main thing that is different about this though is I'm going to right click on it and turn it into a construction line. That just means it's there just to help us. It's not actually a line that we want to draw as to be part of the shape, because obviously it was just a circle, but there's no lines in it. But what I want to do is also turn that one into a construction line. What I think I did there was I ended up undoing the first one. Okay. So I have two construction lines. This one's not done yet. What I'm going to do is I put a dimension between the line going straight up and the line going at an angle. Anytime you do that kind of dimension, it gives you a degree. So I can no longer change the length right now. I'm just changing how far away it's angled. So I'm going to put in 45. I want it to be right in between going straight up and going straight across. The next thing I'm going to want to do is just to dimension how far. So if I go from a point now, let me get it clean. Go back from a point to the middle. I want to measure how far this is from here to here. I'm going to type 0.841. And as you can see, it's actually on my circle. And if you remember, we use that number to place the same hole pattern on the front of the speakers. So the next thing we're going to do is a quick circle here. I'll put it on that end point. So it's going to be on this line and on the circle. And I'm just going to put in 0.185. And I will go ahead and offset that. Well, let me go back and double check. Actually, this needs to be 0.135. So let's go ahead and change that to 0.135. The offset that we do after this is 0.185. So that's looks better. Again, offset kind of works the same way. I click on it, I start to move it, type in my offset dimension, hit enter, and there you go. When you see it change colors, we know there's nothing, it's fully defined. There's nothing that you can change. That is until we start trimming. So I'm going to go ahead and start trimming a little bit away. I want to keep this circle intact, but I don't want these inside the circle, and I don't want this underneath the circle. So there I get my sort of look kind of like a bear ear, teddy bear ears here. Now all I want to do is pattern this all the way around. So I'll use my circular pattern. It's a little easier to find here because it's not hidden behind any drop-down menu. Geometry. First thing I do is pick my geometry, which is just these two circles. And I pick my axis, which will be the center of my circle. Of course, it gives me 6. As a default, I will change it to 4. Now I'll hit OK. So I'm almost done. All I got to do now is again trim away these parts underneath and inside these circles. Now you can start saying the more I trim, the more dimensions get taken away, and you can see it start turning green. That is not a problem. So you can kind of stop once you get here. This part is done. But I like having everything fully defined, just in case, you know, if I accidentally move something, I can accidentally move something and stuff will change shape and really change the meaning. So just to be sure, I want to fully define it. So that's when I put in this 1.198, 1.19 it rounds up to. It was already there because it wasn't correct, but I just needed to put that one dimension there to fully define it again. So this was the first part. Once I have my sketch done though, all I gotta do is extrude, and I'm just gonna extrude it 1/16. So I just clicked that one way too thick right there. I just need to do 0.0625. I'll go ahead and do the full 16th.